Yo, testing. This is the second video I'm filming, so please excuse me for looking already hot as balls, because it's hot as balls in here. Welcome to summer. Today I have something just fun and laid back here, because for the past month and a half now, I have been working at a used bookstore. I know, I made it. I know, couldn't have done it without some of you out there and the belief that you had in my love of books. Love working at a bookstore. I really do. The bookstore that I work at is very unique, and I feel like I've already learned so much just about knowledge in general, about literature, about book selling, about running a business. Like, it's a small independent bookstore, and I am literally bursting with joy every moment that I'm there. I've never had a job that was like that. So to celebrate my 30% employee discount, I have indeed been buying some books because duh. So I'm here today to show you all of the books that I have bought since I started working in a used bookstore. It is a total of 11 books. It isn't that bad. It's not that good, but it's not that bad. It could be worse. Not a ton of literature here, but I think that's something that my used bookstore specializes in, is abnormal finds. Just like things that you would have never thought were a book in the first place. Like Instant Lives by Howard Moss and Edward Gorey. I've already read it, by the way. This is the silliest little book full of little portraits by Edward Gorey and little biographies of famous people by Howard Moss. And it includes mostly like artists, people like Jane Austen, Frederick Chopin, Gertrude Stein, El Greco, and it was so silly. I sat down and read it one night. It was very clever. Howard Moss did a really good job shaping his writing style to fit the energy of the artist that he was talking about, which I think really added to the experience. I'm a big Edward Gorey fan, so finding this like hidden gem, almost stumbling upon it, was really awesome. Next, we have The Colossus and Other Poems by Sylvia Plath. I've never heard of this collection, but I always prefer to get poetry collections as they were originally published. I don't like anthologies that collect them all. I just don't think that I get as much benefit from the poems that way. I really loved Crossing the Water, so I have been wanting to pick up some more of Plath's poetry for so long, and I love this. Color, stripes, and everything. Super cool. Now we have The Ink Dark Moon, Love Poems by Ono no Komachi and Izumi Shikibu, women of the ancient court of Japan. I got this because I have The Tale of the Genji, which is the same edition. They're both really classic Japanese literature. The Tale of the Genji was the first novel that was ever written, and then Ink Dark Moon is a collection of poetry from the same court of women. Not the same woman that wrote them, but same era of Japan. And they look cute together. Next was a super interesting gem that I found, Configurations by Octavio Paz, and I picked this up because of the back, so I'll read it to you. Octavio Paz has one distinction as an anthropologist, philosopher, and critique of art and literature, but it is as a poet that he is most celebrated. Configurations is his first major collection to be published in this country, and includes in their entirety Sunstone and Blanco. Paz himself and translated many of the poems from Spanish. Paz's poems, although rooted in the mythology of South America and his native Mexico, nevertheless have an international background, transfiguring the images of the contemporary world. Powerful, angry, erotic, they voice the desires and rage of a generation. To possess truth in one's soul and body. Ribaude's ideal might also be said to lie behind the post-Christian, post-Nietzschean poetry of Octavio Paz, with its search for innocence, its explorations of the time that love establishes within time, and its reaching through and beyond dualism. And that's cool as fuck. I want to read that poetry that holds that definition. This is another interesting one that you find. Sometimes you just find the most random things. Roots of Bitterness, the Documents of the Social History of American Women by Nancy F. Cott. By venturing into the journal's autobiographies, fictions, manifestos, and narratives of the makers of American women's history, Nancy Cott has in fact offered us this important anthology, the primary source of consciousness and experience in both halves of a nation. So the lively and varied documents in this book are not only history, but also help to understand our present understanding. The root of bitterness exposed in these pages is also the root of liberation. It was that last line that really got me. The root of bitterness exposed in these pages is also the root of liberation. I'm a big believer that, that's how the truth works. That's how liberation will come to us, is through education and the knowledge of other people's stories and experiences. So I was like, well, that sounds literally right down my alley. Yeah, I want to listen to a bunch of stories from ladies. Thank you. Now, this is a nonfiction. I have no idea how good it is. I normally prefer to do research on my nonfictions because I feel like sometimes nonfiction can be such a risk, because what if the person that wrote it was like racist or something, and then all of their arguments are invalid, you know what I mean? Anyways, this sounds cool though. How Music Works by David Byrne. How Music Works is David Byrne's incisive and enthusiastic look at the musical art form from its very inceptions to the influences that shape it, whether acoustical, economic, social, or technological. Utilizing his incomparable career and inspired collaborations with Talking Heads, Brian Eno, and many others, Byrne taps deeply into his lifetime of knowledge to explore the panoptic elements of music and how it shapes the human experience, and reveals the impetus behind how we create, consume, distribute, and enjoy the songs, symphonies, and rhythms that provide the backbeat of life. Byrne's magnum opus uncovers ever new and thrilling revelations about the redemptive liberation that music brings us all. Liberation is the key word of all the books that I bought today, I guess. But it sounds really, really interesting. Oh, and it's color on the inside. I didn't even know. Cool. Man, honestly, might need to pick this up soon because it's so cool. Also, I love the purple. Ugh, this is one of the ones I'm most excited about. My favorite Shakespeare's play, right? King Lear. A King Lear comic? Are you kidding me? Ian Pollock's illustrated King Lear, complete and unabridged. This is the whole thing. You're kidding me. You're kidding. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to read this. The art style's so dope, dude. Look at that. There's more in this series too. There's Othello and Macbeth, which were both illustrated by different illustrators, but that's pretty cool. I kind of want those. Next, we have The Wind in the Willows. I'm so happy about this because the copy that I read when I read it last year was super ugly. It was literally plain, and this is so beautiful. Are you kidding me? So yes, right? And then the green, it says The Wind in the Willows, and it's all pretty and shiny, right? And then the inside, fully colored. Look at the corners of these pages. And the corner of every page is like that. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. That's so amazing. The art is so good. Yeah, I'm really happy with that purchase. This is gonna be a family heirloom. I'm gonna treasure this copy for a long time. It's in beautiful condition too. It's literally perfect. The next two, actually. Amphigory by Edward Gorey. Yes, we're back in the Edward Gorey train. This was one of the books he was most famous for. He would do really short little illustrated books, some of them for kids, some of them not, right? And this was his compilation that basically got really famous. So I found this like 2 days after I started working at the bookstore, right? 2 days ago, so after a month and a half, I found this, which is Amphigory 2, which I didn't even know existed. And this has more in it. And it is like the best thing ever. I have all the Edward Gorey now. They're so perfect together. I love them. What the hell? Last, but very, very, very much not least, Dante's Paradiso. This is a beautiful copy. It is illustrated. The cover wraps around, and then the illustrations on the inside are absolutely stunning. Oh, like seriously, to die for. And that means that I have to get a cool copy of Dante's Inferno and Dante's Purgatorio too, because they did a full set of them. And I love the size that they are. Like, I love this size. Like, I think this would be a really nice size to read Dante's Inferno and Purgatorio and Paradiso in. I think it would make it a lot easier to consume at this size. I don't know what it is about this edition, but it makes this intimidating classic feel more accessible to me. I don't know how to explain that any further. Alrighty, that was it. That was the last of it. I'm sure in this beautiful journey that I am beginning at this bookstore as a bookseller, I will buy so many more and find so many more that I don't buy. Let so many more go. And I'm just really, really grateful for that opportunity. Really grateful for the opportunity to say no to the books because of how abundant they are in my life. There's so much for me to be grateful for. I am grateful for you, for watching, for hanging out. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll be back. We'll hang out again. We'll keep each other company here at Natalie and Company. Good night.